Hey there, YouTube. Sorry, this is attempt number 4 of recording this video. So before I start, I just want to give the credit where credit is due. The original idea and basis and development of the Excel spreadsheet was done by Alexander Shearer. He posted it in a Channel Fireball article on the 18th of February 2013. You can just I'll have the link in the description so you can click that link. It's always important to cite your sources. So he did most of the work, I just tweaked it. So what he did is he developed a mana worksheet specifically for Excel that would allow you to, this was done during Gatecrash, to see what colors you could hit at approximately the right time using statistics and deck building process. Now, the link that he included here in the as a download in Excel format was bugged when he posted it right away because he used like a numbers port or something. He used an older version of Excel, and so if you download this one, if you could, it just doesn't work. Period. So what I did back when Gatecrash was out is actually I took it and I rewrote it so it would function correctly. His hyperbolic geometric distribution function was incorrect. He was using older forms of it that were no longer acceptable by Microsoft Excel 2003 or later, so I had to update all of those. This for some reason had to be written in a unique format, and then you had to check the decimal points on these. Some of them are very, very specific. So if you want to read exactly how the Excel spreadsheet works, check this out. It says sort of what's going on, and it'll offer. I don't want to make this video like half an hour as I explain this because we all know that my videos are already too long to begin with. So if you have this, read it. Again, link will be in the description. But basically what I did is I took the same concept for mana bases, and I did it for everything post Theros. So we have the basics, the shock lands, the scry lands, all the guild gates, all of the special color producers, the utility lands, mana fixers on turn 1, 2, and 3, and then the rest is all done mathematically. So let's say, for example, that you are playing a mono red deck, that you are playing 24 mountains. So if you go and you just have 24 mountains, the way that this works is it counts the total lands. You have to enter how many total cards are in the deck, so I just have entered 60. Everything that's yellow has to be self-entered. Everything else don't touch, because it's all done by math and references. So what it does is it calculates the possibility of you having that color mana on any specific turn. So having red mana, and there's sometimes a little glitch with like rounding errors here, so this, and it doesn't keep track much past the third decimal point, so that's why it looks like it might be going down here when it should be about the same. So what it does, it says, okay, well, in the best case scenario, which is the upper, I think it's upper like standard deviation that I chose, or that's chosen, is okay, you hit red basically 100% of the time. Again, this is minor things, but the safe case, and this is the one that I typically choose to use, is 83% of the time you'll have a mountain on turn 1. Now the reason it's 83% is because you have to deal with no land hands, and you're only playing 24. If you see and you up it to like 26, which is a more, like if you're playing mono red control, which I know is not a deck, but you can sort of see that this jumps up about 4%. Again, little glitchy with those ones. The same thing happened in the article. I used the same math behind it. So there's that. And then the worst case is in the lower end of the distribution. So this is like the worst the deck could do. So if you have really bad luck, but I tend to just rely almost strictly on the safe case. Now let's say, for example, that you're running some sort of green-red deck, right? Where you're running 20 forests and 5 mountains. So I enter in 20 and 5, and this is all logged, and you see when we come back down here, you have a total land count of 25. So the best case scenario, you'll get red about 50% of the time, and green you'll have it almost certainly. In the safe case, you can see the same sort of thing. So safe case is about 50% and a little bit less than 90, but still 83 is, I think, a solid value. That's what you get for playing 20 forests. Now, this is where the other things come in. So let's say I have a lay of the land. So if I play 4 lay of the land, right, it can net me a green or a red, is the way I entered this. So it logs green and red, and it won't log it for turn 1. So you see turn 1, the safe case is still 45 and 83. But when you start getting to turn 2, there's a spike right here. This one stays about the same because, well, it's not, you already would have green to use the lay of the land. But for red, it jumps about 20%. So having lay of the land can almost can increase the probability that you get red on a safe case by 20%. So now you can sort of imagine what it was like for Farseek, because Farseek was, yes, it would get it to you on turn 3, but you could get basically any color with it guaranteed on turn 3 and in play, so you'd already have it. So it'd ramp you and fix you a lot. So 20% just with Lay of the Land, which sees 0 play. If we go for the same sort of thing, right, and I'm playing Sylvan Caryatids, right, I just put white, blue, black, red, green, but if you take a look, right, you have access to 30, like, if you're just playing the colors, nothing else, and 4 Sylvan Caryatid, you have the possibility of getting any color about 40% on turn 3. Not on turn 1 or 2, but it ups all your percentages, and it gets you even higher for red if you didn't have it already. So that's why, you know, these sort of mana fixers are important. I have included the same sort of thing with the guild gates and the scry lands, though there is an enter the battlefield tapped counter. So let's say I'm playing like 4 Temple of Deceit in my random 4 color deck, right? For 1, it's going to log me as 29 lands, which is a lot, and here it logs 4 enter the battlefield tap lands. So as you can see, it's you have a 40% chance that you'll get blue or black on turn 1. So, you know, pretty small. You are playing 29 lands, and then you can sort of see these ones are explained better in the article than I can say clearly. But it's the probability of having an enter the battlefield tap land on any turn. So as you can see, with if you want to get blue or black, you have a 90% chance here. These maths are, again, all explained better. But let's say, for example, this is a Grixis deck that I'm actually playtesting right now, right? So I just pull out the land base, and I'm running, okay, 2 swamps, 3 islands, and 4 mountains. So 4 mountains, 3 islands. And then I'm running the full 4 blood crypts, 4 steam vents, and 4 watery graves, along with 4 temple of deceits. So that should add up to 25 lands, and it is. So looking at the 25 lands, I have 4 that definitely entered battlefield tapped. But as you can see, the safe case is about 80% of the time I'll have all 3 colors reliably. It drops down to about 75 for red, which is a little bit rough for when you're having to deal with like Anger of the Gods, for example, where you definitely want to hit double red by turn 3, where having a single red is about 75%. So this does not take into account doubles, by the way, double colors. So as you can see, there's this sort of wanting to adjust my mana base. Now there's not much we really can do because there is no red temple in the colors that I want to be playing, but it's still fun. Now I could be playing guild gates instead to make it better, but the question is that would up my enter the battlefield tapped lands, right? So this would be adjusted accordingly for that same reason. So what I wanted to show off is, well, 1, that this is all working, but 2, I wanted to have you guys have access to it. So I will be including a link down below where you can download this Excel spreadsheet, cleared of course, and you can use it to help you guys balance out your complex mana bases. I'm a bit of a math nerd, in case you haven't noticed. in past videos, and the fact that I went like, oh, this is normal. If you don't have anything entered, you'll get glitchy stuff. If you haven't noticed, I'm a bit of a math nerd, but I used this sort of strategy to successfully navigate deck construction of a custom brew that was 4 colors right when Gatecrash came out. It was a Master Biomancer Lingering Souls deck that took me to the top 8 of a Star City Games Super IQ. I've used the same sort of thing for the PTQ, where I top 8'd as well, again developing the mana base for, I mean, there were no real tweaks because it was Bant hexproof, so the mana base had been mostly ironed out. I made one change because I noticed that when I would punch the numbers in here that there was a bit shortage of green on turn 1, which was something that the deck really wanted. Anyway, so I've rambled on long enough. You guys can go ahead and fiddle with this. If you have any questions, just let me know. As I said, you just have to enter in the colors yourself, or like anything in yellow if you're using it. So Greenside Watcher, you have to enter in the colors. Same with Lay of the Land and Traveler's Amulet. Traveler's Amulet should be down 1 below, actually. It should be a turn 2 mana fixer instead of a turn 1, because you're not going to be cracking it on turn 1 because you have to pay mana for it. But it does take into account cards like Mutavault. So one last one. Let's say I play like the same thing that I was playing, that instead of playing 4/4, I played 4 Mutavaults. You can see how that affects your mana base as well, and that there's 4 colorless producing mana, and so the red stays about the same because, well, the red didn't change, but the green dropped about 7%. So you can see why trying to force Mutavaults into 3-color decks is a little bit sketchy, because already in a 2-color deck it lowers it about 10%, which minimizing variance is kind of useful. Okay, I've ranted on long enough. Thank you guys all for watching. Rate, comment, subscribe. Again, check out the links down below in the description so you guys have access to all of this. And I hope you guys enjoy it. Thank you all for watching.